Hi, I'm Emma, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Worsted Willow Podcast. I'm a knitter and crocheter, and I'm using the space to share all of my making related things with you guys. You can also find me on Ravelry and Instagram at Worsted Willow. I try to keep up with my projects there and all of my progress outside of this podcast. So I'll just jump right into my knitting for the week. It is a little less than a week. I had postponed recording by a couple of days the last few weeks, the last couple weeks. So I was recording on a Friday, and I'm trying to get back onto my schedule of recording Tuesday evenings, which was my original intention. So we're recording Wednesday morning, but I feel like I did get a lot done even in the less than full week. And I have a few new projects to share, so I'm really excited. I'm not wearing any knitwear today. I also have no finished objects. I wrapped up a big project last week, my Luna tee. I need to get finished object photos for that. But yeah, still chugging along on the MKAL and just not in a place where I'm finishing, but I did start a few other things. So we'll just get right into that. We'll start off with my little travel project, since it's probably the least interesting one. And that is my Musselburgh hat. It's actually not mine, it's for my fiance, but I didn't get too much done on it. I mostly just worked on it at church this past week. So here's what I've gotten done. So I am probably over halfway done now. I have olive yarn starting to get a little bit smaller, but yeah. So my Musselburgh, I don't have too much to say about this right now that I haven't said in previous episodes. It's Bear's colors. It's for my fiance. I made a hat last year, but we left it at a friend's and still have forgotten to get it back. We will get it back at one point, but I'm basically just going to be making Musselburghs for everyone in my life. So it's my fiance's turn right now. Yeah, it's been a really great little travel project. I didn't travel this week, really, so that's why it didn't get worked on. But this coming weekend, I have a lot of travel, so I will likely get probably close to finish with this, if I'm being honest. At least hopefully. That's my goal. So that's my Musselburgh. It's in this really cute little reversible bag. Yeah, not too much to say about that. So we'll move on to my exciting new whip. So as I mentioned last week, there is a new knit along starting at my local yarn store, Nina's, and I went to it in person this past Saturday, and it was so much fun, and I got started on my project. So there's two options for the knit along, and they had some kits available. The first was Sprite by Andre Mowry, and then the Easy V by Caitlin Hunter. I think everyone that was there on Saturday was working on the Easy V, and that is also what I decided to work on. I mostly just worked on it there, but then on Sunday when we play board games with friends, I also worked on it so I could kind of get into the color work a little bit, because that's what I was really interested in. So this is what I have so far. So I finished the neckline and I got into the color work, so you can see that all of my colors have now been attached and used. So I'll put a picture of a finished Easy V here because I think the construction's really interesting. But it's basically this like neckline that sits on your shoulders. So I'm doing a purple one, and My main color is more of like a beigey, and then there's a dark purple, a white, and like more of a lavender. So here I'll get so this is my main color. I have a lot of yarn in this one little thing, so we're gonna pull out random labels and see if I can figure out which one's which. Or I know which one's which, but see if I can find the right one. Yes, this is the beige color. It's all in Blue Sky Woolstock worsted. This is the first time I'm using this yarn. I used one Blue Sky fiber before. I used their extra, which is a merino wool, for the cowl I wore a couple weeks ago. But this is 100% fine Highland wool, so I like it. It's got a little bit more of a rustic feeling, but it's not like super scratchy, and it's very, very plush when knitting it up because it is like, you can see that it's like a nice little 2-ply yarn. So it's a 2-ply worsted weight wool, and oh my gosh, it's just, I can already tell it's going to be so warm. This is the first sweater I'm knitting for myself out of 100% wool. The sweater I made for my fiance, the single malt, was 100% wool. But the sweater I made for myself, my Lume, was acrylic. So very excited to be using wool for a sweater for myself. It's perfect timing because it's going to be cold. So I think my biggest challenge with this is just going to be working on it at a slower pace and not like saving it for the knit along days and not necessarily getting to a point where I'm finished with it way before the knit along actually ends. Because since it's in person, I kind of want to save it more for those days, and then towards the end, if I need extra time on it, to work on it extra at home. Okay, so that was my main color, and these, I'm trying to figure out the best way to hold them, are my, I'll show them this way, my contrast, or my color work colors. So we have Highland Fleece, Pressed Grapes, and the last one, Lilac Bloom. So these are all three of my colors. I love them. So they're going to be in this order. So like this is closest to the top, then the white, then the lilac. And it'll be like 2 little peaks of each. But yeah, it's been really fun so far. I 100% thought that this sweater started with a flat neckline and then joined in the round later, but it actually is entirely in the round. You just do like increasing in a way that makes a V shape, and then there's like these straight line sections on the shoulders. But I'm very happy about that. But I will say I haven't switched cables, so I cast on this cable because the I always forget how to pronounce the name, but the Leica cables, they don't really have any short cables. So I think this was the shortest one in the set, and I had to cast on 120 stitches, so it was like stretched out when I cast it on, and it was really hard because these cables are super twisty, so it was really hard at first to see if my stitches were twisted, so that was not very fun. But you start increasing pretty much immediately, and even with the first row I could tell it was getting a lot easier to like see and move the stitches around. So yeah, there was just like quite a few rounds where it was very, very hard to maneuver. And I only have one more increase round before I split for sleeves, so I'll likely keep it just on this cord the entire way through the body, because I think I could do one more increase round and be fine. We'll see. But yeah, I'm super excited for that. It was so great to be with knitters in person. This was the first time I've really done a knit group or like an in-person knit along. I do crochet with one other person while we play board games on Sunday, or like knit or crochet, but it's a little bit different. It's not like knitting's the main focus. And it was just great to get a little more plugged into my local yarn store, because like I'm there a lot and I know a lot of the workers, but to meet some other people who shop there and just hang out and enjoy everyone's company and just knit for a while and be with people who understand the ups and downs of knittings, and to be able to talk about that with people who fully understand what's happening and not explaining every single little thing. So that is my Easy V. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, it'll probably be a slow going one. I'm also not going to the knit along this coming weekend, so I probably won't have much progress on it for this next week. Like I said, I want to sort of leave it for the knit along, and then also I'm still in the middle of my MKAL, so I want to finish the MKAL before I start working on my Easy V at home by myself. But yeah, super excited. I want it to be done so I can wear it, but I want it to be more of a progress piece than a speed through final product. So yeah, that is my Easy V. Very happy with how it's going so far. Also happy I didn't have to knit flat. So my next whip is a bit more of a story. So this is one I started probably a year ago now. It's a blanket. But I need to get working on it again because it's almost Christmas, and it was originally intended to be a Christmas present for last year, but I had just started knitting and crocheting and had made a bunch of other gifts, and so it didn't. Then it was going to be a birthday gift, but then it was 90 degrees outside, and I was like, I'm not putting a blanket on my lap and working on it while it's 90 degrees outside, so now it's going to be a Christmas gift again, hopefully. I'm making gifts for a lot of people in my life this year again, but I'm focusing on gifts that are easier and like travel focused, like Musselburghs, things like that. So I think I'll have a lot more time to work on this, and also I'm starting to think about it now, so hopefully I will be good on that. But this is, oh my gosh, I don't know how to show this because it's literally a blanket. This is, let me get this yarn out of the front. The braided cabled crochet blanket. So it's beautiful and I love it. And I have, let me show it lengthwise. I have this much of it done. So I did work on it this past week. I'm trying to rotate this out to be my morning project instead of my MKAL, and then have my MKAL be whenever I have time in the evening or during the day during my breaks for work. Just because I need mental relief from the MKAL, and I want the MKAL to be fun and not something that I'm like forcing myself to do. So trying to get started on some other projects and like get progress on those as well. And at this point, all the clues are out for the MKAL. I know what I'm going to be doing with it, so, but I'll talk more about that once I actually bring out the MKAL, because I'll do one more spoiler alert, and then I think next week will be 2 weeks after the last clue came out, so probably won't do a spoiler on that one. But so I started working on this one in the morning, and I got a decent amount done. So there's 8 rows per repeat, so 4 right side rows, so 4 of these are 1 repeat, so I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm about halfway. I did about 1.5 repeats, which is pretty good. So yeah, so this is something I want to have done by Christmas. I've been using the big Karen 1 pound yarns. So as you can see, I have one full one left. And then this is the one I'm currently working on. So I need this to be done probably closer to New Year's than Christmas. But we'll be traveling a lot between Christmas and New Year's, so I don't know how much time I'd actually have to work on it in that time span. But my goal is finish this half-used ball of yarn before Thanksgiving. And then I have a full month to finish this ball of yarn. So I think that's a doable goal, and morning crocheting gives me a lot of time to work on it. So yeah, I think that'll be doable. This is another project where it's just been sitting for so long, and there's still a decent amount of work to do on it too, that I just like want to get it done, and it's for my grandma, so I really want to gift it to her. It's just meant to be like a little lap blanket for while she reads in the morning. But yeah, it also went through many iterations. So I started out, I was thinking of doing the Irish lace afghan, also from Yarnspirations, so just sort of generic patterns. But that one is a motif. It's like a granny square lace motif pattern, and you do join as you go. But I made about 10 squares, and I was like, there's like 300 more of these, and I'm really not feeling it. So you had to make like 300 squares, and then there was crocheting to join them together in their like vertical columns. So I was like, I'm not feeling this. So then I was like, I'll make up my own pattern. Like, I'll figure out a blanket pattern and do that. And so I started one. It was going to be a mix of single crochets, herringbone double crochets, or herringbone half double crochets, one of those two, and bobbles. So I was going to get like some little like arrow chevron stripes, like horizontal stripes, some bobble lines, and then some like single crochets surrounding the bobbles. And I got probably 20 to 30 rows into that, and overall I did like it, but the fabric was just really, really dense. I wasn't happy with how the fabric was feeling, and I know acrylic's a little weird and would soften up a little bit when I finish and like wash it, but I wasn't having it. So I found this one, and the cables have overall been really fun. I have realized that for crochet cables, having a hook that's comfortable and easy to maneuver has been everything. So I really like the Prim crochet hooks, which this isn't the right size, but they look like this. But for some reason on the acrylic yarn, there's just like, there's sometimes like a little bit of imperfection in the hook, and there's a little bit of roughness like along this side. And so for the Prim hook with the acrylic yarn, it made this awful squeaking noise, and I just like couldn't maneuver it well. It just kept getting like stuck on the yarn, and that was not fun. So then I used like a normal off-brand Clover Moore hook, and that one was fine, but I don't like how rounded they are. I definitely am more of a void hook person where they're pointed, so that wasn't working out too well for me either. And then I got this really nice wooden hook because I was like, wow, I really like how pointed it is, and like it's long and straight, so it should be pretty easy, but it's also long and like not comfortable to use, so this didn't really work out. And the wood is so light that it almost felt like it was gonna break when I had to like cross behind stitches. So then I found this hook. I think this one's also Hobby Lobby. Again, I don't really shop there anymore. Don't shop there at all anymore, but this is the hook I've been using, and it looks really similar to the Prim hooks, but this plastic here is like completely smooth. I mean, you can tell it's like shiny where the other one was matte. So this one's completely smooth, and I think it has a bit longer of a head. And so this one works out really, really well, and it's definitely been the most comfortable by far to crochet with. And I think most of the blankets probably been done in this one or the metal Clover and More knockoff. So, yeah, that was like a big issue with making this that I kind of didn't expect when I started it. So, because the ones where they cross in front here aren't that bad. It's these ones where you have to cross behind. So, I will say I think I like cables more with crochet than knitting for the actual process of doing them. They're just a little bit easier. I mean, cable needles are kind of obnoxious, and crochet doesn't have that, but I think I like the way knit cables look more. Crochet, for some reason, has this weird, like, almost like pixel effect because of, like, the bumps in the crochet stitches and then, like, the single crochets in between. Like, I feel like it looks like pixelated cables. And they also have more of, like, the square line on the side, so maybe I'm just being weird, but that's kind of what it looks like to me. So yeah, this should hopefully be done by Christmas, and it'll just be my, like, I wake up at 6, I start work at 8, so I normally have a good hour and a half of knitting or crochet time while I, like, listen to audiobooks or listen to readings for school, things like that. So I think that'll be a good amount of time to work on getting things done. But yeah, so one more whip to go through. It is my MKAL, so I will put a timestamp of where to jump to if you don't want to see it. I know we're still in well, when I post this it'll be Friday, but we're almost still in that week right after Clue 4 came out, so this will be the last time I'll do a spoiler, and then next week I will not include one because that'll be 2 weeks after, and I would assume most people who wanted to see it by then should, and also it's kind of within the time frame of when clues would normally come out. So yeah, if you don't want to see it, skip ahead now. So I'm bringing it out. Okay, so I feel like I got nothing done on it, but I did get a decent amount done. So, let's see, where's the top of this? So I think last week I had finished this side and the first cable section. So I have both cable sections done now. And then I started Clue 3, which is this long thing. So I am absolutely in love with these cable sections. If they can lay flat. I'm also happy they're done now. But yeah, so it feels like I got nothing done. I did this cable section like basically in a day, and then this was just yesterday's knitting, so I really didn't work on it too much, but which is probably why it doesn't feel like I did that much, because if I exclusively worked on the MKAL, I'd probably be on Clue 4 by now. But yeah, I mentally could not. So I also looked at Clue 4 just to kind of mentally plan out. I like 95% sure my gauge is a lot bigger than what it should have been. I did gauge swatch, but I realized that my gauge swatch is entirely knit stitches, and I think because there's a lot of purling with this being flat, my purls are a lot looser than my knits, and I think it made my gauge a lot bigger. So yeah, I have already had to buy another yarn, so I had to buy another thing of main color because this is like half a skein of yarn. I do have one full of my contrast color, so I think I should be good, and I'm pretty good on accent color. I have a DPN stuck through it, but I'm pretty good on accent color. I will hold off on the accent color I-cord embellishments in the cable section until after I finish all the accent color to make sure I have enough. I'll probably do those in a crochet I-cord instead of a knit one as well, just because that'll go a little quicker for me. But yeah, overall I'm really happy with how it's going so far. I will be making one modification to clue 4. So you finish out the wings in clue 4, and then there's also some additions to the bottom of this section. And so you do like these accent color, like twisted rib semicircles, and then you're supposed to do like these really big chevrons off of that. I'll probably just not do the chevrons off of that. I don't really like how it looks, personally. But I think tying in that accent color at the bottom of this section will be really pretty, and will just kind of give this edge a more finished look, so I can like knit these loops down and everything. So I think I'm just going to do that section in my accent color and not worry about the extra thing. Plus that will make me feel better about how much yarn I have left. So yeah, that's my plan. So that'll be a little less knitting, which is nice, but there's still a lot of knitting left, and my shawl is massive, so it should be fun. I'm hoping to, before I film next week, which I'm going to try to film next week, Tuesday evening, I'm hoping to have clue 3 finished, and then have started the wings of clue 4, because I really want to get those stitch holders off. They're very much bothering me. So that's the plan. We'll see how that actually goes, because like I said, I will be traveling a lot this weekend. Yeah, I just will not have a lot of time sitting at home knitting, but that's my goal. I want to get it done. I want to work on other projects, like my EZV and my blanket, and start some other gift makes. Yeah, I'm feeling a little burnt out of it, so it will get done though. It will get done before, hopefully before Thanksgiving, but definitely before Christmas it should be done with. So, but yeah, not a priority, especially now that all the clues are out. But I still want to finish it before the end of the year, before, you know, all the MKAL hype is completely gone, before people are like in Advent season now instead of MKAL season. So, and also it's like very fall colors, and I want to wear it before fall ends. So, but yeah, that's my MKAL. Really not that much to show for it this week, and not that much to add on to it. So it's safe to come back now. I didn't have too many acquisitions. Most of my acquisitions are just the yarn for my EZV. I did get one other thing. I got another bag, so more of like a tote bag, bigger bag to bring with me places, but I've been seeing it at Nina's every time I've gone in, like the past month or so, and it's just been staring at me. And then when I was sitting in the little couch area, it was like right in my periphery, and it was just staring at me the entire time, so I finally bought it. And look how cute it is. It's so cute. And I was wearing my Lume sweater, and it matches my Lume sweater like perfectly because of the flower pattern in the yellow. And it's just adorable. So this bag is made by 65 South Alabama. So, and it's, yeah, I'm going to take out my Musselburgh and my mittens I made last year. But inside there's these cute little extra pockets. Oh my gosh, this is hard to maneuver. Cute little extra pockets that are in like this newspaper fabric. And I love the little handles. So it's just like a tote bag. I mean, it doesn't even look maker specific, so I'll probably bring it with to work tomorrow, to be honest. So I already checked and it fits my MacBook in it, so we'll be good. And then the last thing I got that I don't know exactly where it is right now, but I got the Cocoknits Precious Metal Stitch Marker set. So that came with 2 sizes of ring stitch markers and then light bulb stitch markers. There's 6 of each size in silver, copper, and gold. So very excited with that. I was using it with my Easy V on my copper needles and it looked so good. So that was just a little, I had $10 off. So I bought those. But yeah, I think that's it for my acquisitions and knitting stuff for this past week, a little less than a week. So I only have one life thing to go through, and besides that, that'll be it for today. So my one life thing is, like I said, I'll be traveling this weekend, and I'm very, very excited because I'll be wedding dress shopping. So that is the plan for Saturday. I'm going with my mom and sister and my fiance's mom and sister. So it should just be a really good time trying stuff on. We're also doing some bridesmaid stuff. So very excited for that. We got engaged like a while ago and we're just doing a long engagement, but it's finally under a year. So it kind of feels like crunch time for starting to plan now. We'd put a lot of planning off because there was so much time, and now it's like, oh no, we have a lot to do. So yeah, there'll probably be a lot more weekends of getting stuff done for that, and this is hopefully going to kickstart all of that. So I'm very excited. I feel like I'll be playing dress up like I did when I was a kid again, like putting on a little fashion show. So I don't know if that's actually what it feels like, but that's what I imagine it feels like, and yeah, very excited for that. That's all I really had for this week. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below, and subscribe if you want to see when I post in the future. Thank you for watching.